Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Simmons. I am the CEO of the Victorious Foundation, and I am the creator of the Living Room TV show. This TV show is here to bring the community together, to talk about the issues. If we find a solution to that topic, fine. If we don't, and we just want to get something off our chest, that's fine as well. As this is a cancel culture free zone, we want people to be honest about their opinions and be able to speak freely, because that's how we're able to at least fix issues within the community and at least talk about them. I am going to start with introducing my co-host, starting with Maisha.
Hi, everybody. My name is Maisha Robinson. I'm the founder and CEO of UCrowd, as well as Maisha Robinson Consulting. Can't wait to get started on this topic.
Thank you, Maisha. Pierre.
Hi, I'm Pierre Baines. I am the founder and creator of the podcast called Put It on Front Street, and I'm excited to be here.
Thanks, Pierre. Carell.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Carell Augustus. I'm a photographer, freelance in Los Angeles, and I'm ready to get into this topic.
And lastly is Kaleem.
Hey everyone, my name is Wesley Kaleem Colmenares. I am the owner of Juiced Up Enterprises LLC, which is a mobile juice bar in the city of Culver City. And I also work for Los Angeles Urban League, which is an affiliate of the National Urban League, and I'm the executive assistant to Michael Lawson.
Awesome. So this topic that I want to discuss with y'all was, do you have a positive or negative interaction with Asians? Please explain. And I guess I'll start this. Everybody know that Black and Asian people have not really gotten along. That's throughout the years, mostly in America. I'll say in America. When you go overseas, like the places in Vietnam, I've heard a lot of Black people say they loved it. They were treated like royalty out there. But when it comes to the other countries or other Asian cultures or whatever, Koreans have been ones that, and I've had a lot of run-ins with them that have been very negative for some reason, and then also with Chinese people as well. Recently, one of my former bosses, she was telling me that, and she's Vietnamese, and she was like, never trust the Chinese because they sneaky. And I was like, well, what do you think they're saying about you? It's like what we kind of stated in our previous episode, that our actually topic we were discussing is that, there's also that inner issues with, Asians and Blacks and, LGBT. Everybody has those different pockets of people that don't like other pockets within their own kind of community, I would say. Another incident that I know of, this was in the past, is when I was training an Asian coworker. I noticed about this with a lot of Asians that I have had run-ins to. They don't like being trained by Black people. I mean, they like being trained by white folks. She made that known. She had told HR that she wanted to be trained by everybody else that was white besides me. And it was like, well, Chris is the best up there. I mean, he's going to make sure that you get it done. She was like, well, I feel more comfortable with Josh and Johnny, and and I was like, if she wanna go, let her. I mean, that I still get paid regardless, so it doesn't matter to me.
Well, she should have been relieved of her duties right then and there.
Yeah, but but she was also not just, she was not a normal Asian, she was a pretty Asian. So the guys can have some eye candy. You know how it is, it's very, how politics is at work. It's very woof, you just gotta weed in and try to just make it. So I still had to end up training her and making sure that she was successful. After I got done, she was, had the highest contracts and, everything. She was doing very, very well. And everybody was saying, we have a congratulations. I say, hey, Chris helped train her. She's like, no, I did this by myself. I worked hard. I was like, really? You trained yourself and you knew how to do all this and everything. And it came to a point that was not the first time that's happened to me. That was the second time. And it's like, it brings back when I was growing up, in, downtown Los Angeles when I was little, and going into these, stores with Koreans and they following around the store and stuff. And I'm just like, how can a group of people come running from their country? Because a lot of them fled their country. It wasn't that they were, they came over here, they was already successful. They fled their country for multiple different reasons, especially in Korea. You come over here into the Black community, you tell your kids not to hang with us, you say racist things about us, but you want to take our money. I don't understand that about people. It's like, if you don't like them, don't take nothing from them. You know what I mean? And I see us, all of our resources and stuff from us going to people that don't like us. And that it gets to a point that you just be like, you know, and when I see you know, other Black women going to these hair salons, I'm like, why are you going in there when that man follows you around the store? He argues with you about the price every time. He thinks somebody's always stealing from. Stop supporting them. And I just don't get it. So I've had quite a few run-ins with Asians, and I noticed that when COVID happened and the whole, you know, they said, you know, they were being discriminated against, which, I mean, it was not on the scale of anybody else. I mean, I seen a few fights, a few stores people get beat up in the store. They were literally acting like people were going in there, taking their entire lives and their family and just hanging them outside in the middle of the streets. They made it seem like that. And I was like, I just don't understand that. And then y'all coming to other organizations, Black organizations, and asking for help and understanding. I'm like, where's your understanding for us? I mean, all of a sudden you guys are being attacked now, and now there's an issue. And now you want to have a partnership. Where was the partnership before? So I want to ask y'all, what have y'all experienced? Have y'all experienced anything like this?
I'll start. For me, most of the issues that I've had was doing shopping in Asian establishments. Not personally, anything outside of shopping, I haven't had any issues because my family's actually very mixed. So I have Asian relatives. But when it comes to shopping in mainly Korean stores, I've had the most discrimination where I literally was followed throughout the whole store, just searching for hair products. And, you know, one particular store, I literally was going down each aisle, and the person was following me down every aisle and watching me. And I noticed, and I was with my aunt. My aunt is an older lady, and I was with her. And I told her, you know what? I don't know why they're following me, but let's go find a Black establishment and we can buy some hair care products. And I did. I drove, and at that time I was way in Long Beach, and I had to drive all the way to Inglewood to find a Black hair care place. And I ended up doing that. But I'm the type of person, if I'm not welcome, I don't shop there. If there's any type of following me, or you have an issue with me being in your store, I'd never come back. And I tell everybody else that I know not to shop there.
Right.
I like
I had
that.
problems when I was a kid. You know, you go in the stores and they follow you around. They ask you the same question 19 times until you leave. But as an adult, no, I happen to have a few really good Asian friends. I was in the Army, and one of my buddies from the Army for 30 years at this point has been a really good friend of mine. I actually signed my car over to him, the first car I ever bought, for him to take control of it, to send it to me because I couldn't get it done in time before I left Germany. So yeah, not much as an adult because I don't have time for it. I'll leave if I think you're saying something behind the register or looking at me crazy. I just walk away and leave.
You know what I don't understand? Why would they move? And this is a little sidetrack. It's just like when you see racist white folks move into Black neighborhoods. I'm like, why would you want to move in a neighborhood with people you don't even like?
Because we buy it.
And I just I can't process that. Like, why be around people you don't like?
Well, do you need a hair store like that, like beauty supply store in a white neighborhood? They don't use all the same products we do. So they know that majority of the hair care industry specifically is a at this point, $1 trillion industry. And Black people, we need the products, and they know that. And we are pushed out of that industry from being entrepreneurs in that area.
I heard about that.
So they know we need those products. So they move into our neighborhoods because they know we're going to buy it. Even if they discriminate against us, there's going to be 10 other Black people behind you that's still going to come to that store.
You know what I also like? I'm liking this whole natural look that women are wearing now. The natural, you know, it looks nice. The natural curls, they're like curling, because I mean, this is stopping them from spending money in these places where people that don't rock with you. If people don't rock with you, they ain't getting my money. Period. Okay. And it's just the way it is. And I'm starting to like that movement now, because I mean, if anybody understood the perm, that is so damaging to. I mean, you understand? You're putting
the hot comb.
Yeah, yes, it's horrible. If you look at the chemical makeups of that, it burns into your scalp. A lot of the properties are cancerous. So if you do get a burn, I mean, it goes into your scalp and everything, and then over the years, it starts to create effects and birth defects, and that's why a lot of Black women don't understand why they're having those issues because I mean, all of our products that they're selling to them is toxic. And so that's why when I go into these stores like these Korean, just dealing with it, it's like I it there needs to be some type of law where they can sell it to Black people. You know what I mean? And I think that's what needs to happen is that they need to sell because what they do, and I think that there was a few documentaries, like I know Chris Rock made a documentary regarding it, and they do sell the products to us at a higher cost. And so that's why you always hear when Black people go into the store, why is your prices so high? They're so expensive. And it's like, I mean, they sell it to you almost 3 times the amount that they sell it to an Asian. And so that's why I'm liking this natural hair movement because now this stopping y'all from having to buy those products. And now since Amazon's there, you can just order off Amazon now. I mean, literally. So it's stopping. It's killing all that. Now, I know you laugh. You're like Amazon. I know it's owned by corporation, but it's a lot better. At least I can get with him better than I can get with agents that don't like me. You know what I mean? And it's taking money out of my pocket. What do you guys think, Wesley? Pierre?
You want to go, Wes?
Well, I mean, honestly, I like I said before, I condemn you guys for having to really deal with this in a daily basis because of how I look and who I am, I wouldn't say I wouldn't go through that, but the likelihood is probably less. So I don't ever go into liquor stores, quite frankly. Like I don't vibe with Asian people like that. Like that, the energy there is never there. Even if when I was in school, like it wasn't there. So I always look through my the eyes of a Black person in a way that I'm always looking out for what they're doing to other people that are in my community. That kind of triggers me. So when Chris and I go out and I see something out of the ordinary, I always look out for Chris. So I want to make sure that, if that it triggers me, then I know it's going to trigger him even more. So then, that I react. So when things have happened in that sense, when we go to liquor stores or whatever, I just tend to just stay away so that we don't have to trigger anything.
One thing I would say is that when you do meet, so for clear example, Vietnamese people, love them. I mean, they're just so, I've gotten along with them very well. I get along a lot with Japanese people as well. They've been very nice to me. Actually, one of my friends, we haven't been able to hang around in a long time because he's, moved off to another state, got married, etc. So, but he's a good friend of mine as well. That's Asian. And so when you do meet, you do meet really good people, but it seemed like it is depending on the region. You know what I mean? And that's what's unfortunate. I just have never been able to get along with Chinese or Korean people. It's just like they just don't like us. And I've had multiple instances at work where they are just not friendly. They don't want to be trained by you. They don't want to be associated with you. They want to be associated with the white folks. They want to be, hang out the white groups. I mean, that's just how they are. And I was just like, okay. And over the years, after working with them for a while, I just accepted it. I just said, okay, whatever. I mean, because you can't force nobody to like you, Right. So that's just one of those things. For me, I just know what I need to do moving forward. What about you, Pierre?
I've had good and okay kind of experiences. I would say the okay experience, like, when I go get a mani and pedi, like, it's mostly, Vietnamese, Korean, some kind of Chinese, shop. And I always get compliments. Oh my God, you take care of yourself and you groom yourself so well. And I'm like,
what is that supposed to mean?
It's like, just as an adult, it's like, and I get it, like, certain dudes don't care about their hands or their feet and stuff like that. But it's just like, I get the like, oh my God, you have pretty feet, like, oh, and you know, these things. And it's just like, but then I've seen, you know, not just a Black woman, but I've seen like other nationalities in the shop, and I've seen the and it's they start speaking in their language, and I'm like, oh, she's talking bad shit. And I'll ask who I'm, you know, who's working with me. I built a relationship with her, and she'd be like, they talking mad shit about him or her. And I'm like, you know, and I understand, and it's just like, but it's just like, that's fucked up, because it's like, you tune, like at a certain point, certain people just like, they tune it out because they're like, oh, they're just speaking their language and they're okay, you know, like who's to tell you that they can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. So like, they speak their language, but to a certain extent, you know, and I know now because I've been hip to it, that they be talking shit about certain people. And it's not Black people. They talk about white people, Spanish, like whoever they feel like they want to talk about, they'll say some shit. That's the okay experience. The good experience I've had, and y'all gonna laugh at that. So like, I was with one of my homegirls, and she went to get like, you know, hair or whatever. And the person was following her around. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. You're amazing service. Here, take this. And she's gonna take that, like, hold this. Like, yeah, we're gonna make you whole all of these things because we're gonna get all of this. And the lady was like, oh no, I got something to do. And we was like, no, but you're following us. So that means that you want to help us. So like, here, take that.
I like
I'm gonna
that.
take this, that. And she bitch, walk around with us. You want to follow her? So good. That's my great experience.
I like that.
Yeah, like that. Like, you're not gonna play with me. Like, I'm gonna show you. So you want to walk around, you want to follow me, and now like when we go, she's like, hey, I'm like, hey. Like, you don't follow me now. Like, don't do that. Like, I don't care if it's a Black, white, because I've been in places and I've seen a lot of white people still. And
I have to.
Oh my gosh.
They're not paying attention to them.
They're not.
Yep.
And then 2, they do it because it's a thrill. And 3 is because they know that nobody is going to really check them.
Exactly.
And I'll just be like, well, that ain't my business, because that's what I do. I mind my business. Like, you want to follow the person that actually is going to pay for their shit, and you not much paying attention to your other counterparts.
Clear example. I'm glad you said that. I was working at Best Buy when I was in college, and it was in, you know, the North Kansas City area. So that's like the really bougie rich at the time. That was the rich area at the time, and then they kind of expanded to other places. And they always had, you know, security watching the Black people and everything and stuff. And of course, they found a few people that did take something, or it was an accident, something they got thrown in the bag or something. They thought they were stealing it, but it wasn't, because they already went to the cash register and paid for 99% of everything. So it was like those incidents. While they were doing that, they kept having like shrink issues, and that's what they call in the retail business where people are stealing. They call it shrink. And their shrink was like, 40%. 50%. I mean, it was high numbers. Old white dudes up in there just taking off stickers. He would take off the TV, he would take it off the box, put it on there, put a sticker price on it. So we found out that somebody from the inside was working with him, because they was like, well, how did he get these stickers and all this stuff? But this went on for months. Find out that the person in security was involved with it as well. I'm just sitting here like, so all y'all white, all y'all in here worried about some Black people, and y'all the ones in here stealing. I'm just not processing that. I mean, you got to have a level of common sense sometimes, and it just wasn't there. And
they
so
have no sense of stealing.
It's ridiculous. And so they got fired. But we had a discussion with the general manager, because we said, okay, people came to use about this before, when there was a light-skinned Black guy there. When y'all was talking about he was the one stealing and all that stuff, you was all on it. You was on top of it. You was, well, you know, we watching you on camera and we seen this and that. And he had he had an alibi for everything. He, you know, didn't steal anything. I mean, he had evidence that he didn't do anything. So when we confronted him about the white dudes and why did he not get on that sooner, he was like, oh, well, you know, it was an investigation and we really didn't know. I said, but that was not the same energy that you gave to the black dude.
Mm.
And he a high yeller. I'm black, so imagine if y'all was on me like that. That's why I told him I don't want to work in anywhere where there's like any CDs or any little iPad, because this is when the iPad was big back then. I mean, I don't want to work with anything little. I want to work with these big old TVs, because you're gonna see me take this out the store.
Mhm.
Because it was like that. So I know exactly what you're talking about in terms of that. They so busy watching us, and the white folks in there just stealing right from under them.
Yeah.
I've seen this so many times.
Right in front.
Let me share a quick good story. So I was getting a mani-pedi at this Asian-owned nail shop before. And once they found out that I was actually a business consultant, they came to me to ask me for business advice. And I helped her through her transactions that she had in her store because she needed a little help. And she trusted me to be an advisor for her. So there's some good stories too. So we got to share those. Shout out to the Asian
Absolutely.
homies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
I think the biggest thing here is, I think since we're not being taught in school of how to handle other cultures, or not handle, just be mindful of other cultures, we need to start teaching ourselves. And I think that's where our organizations, our podcast, and our conversations come about, to make them mainstream and make sure that we're educating each other on each other's cultures, and really pointing out what we're catching on to, and that we see what they're doing, so that they can on themselves look at themselves and be like, oh shit, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
you know what? I think that should be a requirement for anybody that comes into the United States. Just like there's a lot of cultures out here, and I think they should be exposed to each culture. So they should be like, when they have to take the exams and they have to go through all that stuff, I think they should have to have some type of section within there where they have to be exposed to some of the major cultures in America. So that way they can kind of see that this is, what they seen on TV or what they're being told is not, not the truth. That's the only way I could think that we could build it. I would like some Asian people to come on this show and speak about a solution, because I know that they see it. My friends used to tell me what their grandparents and even their current parents say about, Black people. So I want to see what they're going to do, since, their grandparents is almost in the grave. So I want to see what they're going to do to help better the situation. What is your plan? How can you help us, move forward? So if y'all do know anybody that's Asian, I'll definitely reach out to my Asian friends as well. I would like to, have them on the show so we can try to figure out a solution to that, to see is anything changing or how we can change it.
Yeah.
It's ironic that aren't we constantly talking about sending American-born police officers to sensitivity training about Black culture? So, there was killing us in the streets, and they were born and raised right here in America. So I just wanted to point that out.
And that's what and that's going to be a whole nother topic for another, definitely for another episode. But
Yeah.
I just want to thank all y'all for contributing. This is our final segment of us filming episode 2. So I want to thank all of y'all. We will make sure that all of your information's out there to the people that's watching. If you like any of the co-hosts and you want to reach out to them, their Instagram, Twitter page, whatever the social media page, we will make sure that it's displayed in the video. In addition, you can also DM us for their information as well. And if you have any questions about being a future co-host as well, please reach out to us as well. Again, my name is Chris Simmons, and thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.